have
Okay.
the
All the best and all the best for your
thanks to
future
the
endeavors.
data basically you need, and many of these data are available directly from the government data sources. Similarly, micro level data, which basically deals with the firm level or industry level or individual household level data or farmer level data. So these data are basically being collected by different government or public agencies or even private agencies also, with the standardized sampling designs, and they are made available because data is, you know, data requires resources to collect. So everybody cannot do that. And as Dr. Rajan Prasad also pointed out, that you need to have a representative data, a quality data. So quality data is really very, very precious. So now we are just moving, some kind of Indian statistical system. You know that MOSPI, that is Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, is the government agency which collects many of these kind of data, macro as well as micro. And CSO office is there, NSSO is there, which basically they have the organized surveys periodically. Sometimes it is quinquennial, that is after 5 years, like different sample surveys, like for example consumption or employment. Some kind they are the decennial surveys, like All India Debt and Investment Survey. So last it is coming after 10 years. Similarly, some are the annual also. So various kind of these large scale data are there. Then some of the data which is collected by CSO, that is in terms of monthly, quarterly, or yearly, or even daily. So let us see that what are the data sources available. So as I just said, that we have both historical as well as current micro level data on different maybe census also and sample survey. I hope that you understand that what we do in census collection of data and how we go for the sample surveys. And the example is that national account statistics, where if you want to collect data of income, macroeconomic variables like GDP or gross value added or consumption or public investments or private investments. So of course you need to go for the national account statistics. Then several kind of socioeconomic surveys, which National Sample Survey is doing. Just now the data of situation assessment has come. Just now data of All India Debt and Investment Survey has come, which is having the large unit level data, that is household level data. Similarly, economic census is also there. Annual survey of industry, annual data is there. Nitashri maybe highlighting how to get those data from those websites and she's working on that. Similarly, price data, consumer price index, wholesale price index, and these indices by bifurcated by the sectors, by the origin of different strata, income groups, states, regions, all sort of data are available. Then of course that many of these government sources data are most of the time freely downloaded published data, and you can just get sometimes like key statistics or key indicators by subjects and sectors also. Then much of the unit level data is supplied at some nominal charges, because they want to discourage some non-interested users. And of course, a price is highly subsidized for researcher and even more subsidized for students. I'm sure that maybe for your PhD work program or maybe in masters, you might have used some of these kind of data. So let us just first of all try to see. I've just tried to give link of some of those websites so that you can just see that what kind of data is available and how you can access that. Let us just open first of all this data. Yeah, like this is what it looks like. If you just see that those things, you can just see that these are the some of the series, state domestic product, all sort of series are there. Then quarterly estimates of GDP, many of the things are listed here. You can just go on and you will get it. Now, every time there is one thing that you need to be aware. here is that,
Madam,
the website,
your screen is
Excuse
not
me.
visible.
my screen is not visible.
Matlab that you have gone to the, I think, MOSPI website.
Yeah, it is
Yeah,
not
but
visible.
still only that slide is visible. So,
I've just tried to link it. So how to do that, Dr. Jha?
uh,
Because I just wanted to show them that link.
how simple is that? Like, you can unshare, you can open it, and you can share the link, your screen itself.
I need to first of all unshare.
Ma'am, you
unshare
have
it.
selected window view while sharing, ma'am. You have to select entire screen option there while sharing.
Madam, आप unshare कर दीजिए. You just
Okay.
unshare it.
Okay,
You
I just unshare
share
it.
now, and like what Lokesh was saying now, whole. Earlier you have only selected that PowerPoint.
Okay, now it is coming.
Screen view. No. Share करिए.
एक मिनट अब शेयर करूं मैं इसको. Yeah, it is coming.
Yes, yes.
Okay, fine. So yeah, so this is official website of Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation, and you can just see that different kind of data are listed here, on the left hand side, and you can just click it upon, you will get the data by different, like state domestic product, then GDP, also current price, constant price, at different price levels also, and you can just come to here like new MOSPI website, that was the old one. Now you can just skip to this one. Is it visible to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes,
For example, in today's newspaper, you must have read, if you just saw the Times of India, that this quarter GDP, that is July to September GDP, was 8.5%. Is it? Some of you remember or not?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So that data, you can then just have this verification that this is the data they have just recently. This is for the 2019-20, quarter 1, quarter 2, 2021. They have just compared. That is the change. That in 21-22, what is the change with respect to the earlier quarter. And this is the figure which you just read it in newspaper. Similarly, you just see that gross value added data by different sectors: agriculture, forestry, fishing, then mining and quarrying, manufacturing, different sectors are there. And this is the overall kind of change, that is percentage change over previous year of that quarter. So this is the kind of recent data which you can just see that one. And you must be knowing other macroeconomic variables like consumption. So this is the private final consumption expenditure in different quarters. So now you can just see the share kind of thing. So the elaborate data of such kind, that what is the share of consumption, investment, government expenditure, trade, that is export, import, etc. in your GDP, this is a kind of share. So similarly, you can just have those kind of things, you can just go on and you will have those kind of data. Now let us just come back to, okay. I think I'm facing problem in
इसको बंद कर दीजिए. जस्ट क्लोज जस्ट यू क्लोज राइट साइड में जो क्रॉस है क्रॉस कर दीजिए.
ये नहीं तो स्क्रीन शेयर ही खत्म हो गया.
कोई नहीं.
Anyway. Okay. Anyway, so basically, Dr. Jha, I think I cannot do it again. Maybe again I have to do like this.
नहीं,
इसको ओपन करके फिर इसको स्टॉप शेयर करना है.
नहीं, इसको ओपन करने का जरूरत नहीं. You have to just share the whole window.
Now it is coming.
No, you have not shared. You have to share the window, madam.
Okay. Share the
Screen
window.
share करिए, screen. अभी तक हम PowerPoint share कर रहे थे.
ये
Yes.
अब आ गया?
Yeah, it's okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So again, come to this new website, or you can even see here also this classification. NIC classification is also given to you. ASI online. These are all. Just coming to this. Yes, here you just see the dashboard. From dashboard, you can just see that how you can just in the different, dashboard, this data is there. So that fact sheet of Indian economy. It's not opening, I think. Yes. Key performance indicators. It is not opening like that this time on this. But if you just view all, you will get all the recent data. And if you have those kind of category, fine, and just search by subject from which date to which date or year, and you just apply, you will get the customized data. For example, if you just want to have for a particular year or particular quarter, you can just search by that way, any of the data, that is searched by the subject. So that can be done. Even you can just see, these are the things which are, on this view, and you can just see those kind of data, basically situation assessment data. Yes, that is the large data set which has just recently been published, and you can just see this key indicator also, and this is a kind of data which is unit level data is also available. So here, I'm just showing that what is the sample size. It's a large data set, as I just said. And I'm sure that Dr. Nityashree is going to show you that how to decode this kind of data, how you can utilize, because this kind of data can be very, very useful to you. It's a large sample size data is there. Large number of variables are there. Different kind of indicators starting from the socioeconomic to basically in terms of like income or income by different activities, by social class categories, their ICT, exposure, prices, many of the, data indicators basically are just like I'm just listing crop production, many income of the household, indebtedness, borrowings, many of the things are there. So this is the very recent data set which Dr. Nityashree is going to show you how to decode and how to utilize it. Because this is the time, once I'm sure that you must be planning your research work and for PhD or for masters, and this is a kind of sometimes difficulty in collecting data also, a precise good sample size. So maybe you can just take this kind of data for a particular state, or maybe you can study for a different socioeconomic category of the data, so that you can cull it out or customize as per your own requirement. This data is also freely available. Similarly, All India Debt and Investment Survey, same data has come, which is a decennial round. Fine. So that 2019-20 data is there. So detailed borrowings, investments, farm investment by different enterprises in different states, different regions, and a very impressive sample size in those states are given. So you can just do some kind of state specific studies, or first of all, you can just have a look over the key indicators also. If you want to compare data of two decades, what is the change in borrowings or investments or other income indicators, that can be utilized. Similarly, how to then again go? Stop sharing. Is it fine now? Is it showing to you my slides?
नहीं मैडम, no.
अभी भी नहीं दिख रहा है. Yeah.
Yes. sir.
So now, so similarly, this MOSPI website, large variety of data is there. And once you want to dig it out, the previous data, you need to make your user ID and that is login ID and password, and you can just customize data as per your own need also. For example, earlier the constant base year was 2004-5. Now it is 2011-12. So if you want to compare those two bases, you can just go to that way. Otherwise, at key indicators, you can have all the current data and by different indicators. As I just said, that not only income, but consumption, private investments, public investments, even government expenditure, and aggregate, export and import, not by category wise, decomposition wise. For the detailing of that trade data, we have different websites that I will just come to you. So now, now we are just coming to another very good database, which is by Reserve Bank of India. I am pretty sure that many of you must have seen that Handbook of Statistics. That is a very, very big, handbook, very, very thick, very voluminous, handbook. So in this, the advantage is that you can just have all the data in one place, not only from MOSPI, but from various other financial market data also, which is mainly dealt by the Reserve Bank of India. So here I have just given the link. Again, I am not sure. That's a first of all, I just click it to this.
You have to share your screen, madam. आप अनशेयर करके शेयर स्क्रीन करके आप यू कैन ओपन दिस.
नहीं, पर पहले तो मुझे इसको क्लिक करना पड़ेगा ना.
हाँ, कर दीजिए. अब आपके स्क्रीन पे तो आ गया होगा ना.
हाँ, मेरे स्क्रीन पे आ गया. अब इसको शेयर कर दो.
हाँ.
अब ये क्यों नहीं हो रहा? इसको स्टॉप शेयर करके करना होगा ना. Like this.
Yes.
If you see this one, you get many of the data at one go. That is macroeconomic aggregates at current price. Excel this is in Excel also, in PDF also, at constant price. For example, if I just suppose click it up, you get the data, like this. Fine. So this is the handbook of the recent year. You can just get the previous years also, and you have the database. So at one go. So this is the most from the 2014-5 to the most recent data. Again, the same thing, which is from the National Account Statistics. But the original data source is MOSPI. Mind it. Fine. This is the compiled data from MOSPI for this handbook for your convenience. But if you want, suppose data for the most latest year, as I just gave you an example regarding quarterly estimates, suppose for 21-22. Fine. This 2021 is here, this final estimates. But 21-22 for the second quarter or the first quarter, that data, if you want to collect, you need to go to MOSPI. So here, just see that all macroeconomic variables are at one go. And this is if you, at the this current price or constant price, all kind of things are there. Then gross value added, gross domestic product, net state value added, all sort of definitional things which you must have read in your macroeconomic course. It is all given, per capita, sector wise, savings, investments, everything is there. And that data is easily downloadable also. Now, the second thing here, output and prices. Here again, as I just said, that it is the whole compiled handbook, very, very voluminous handbook actually. But if you just ask me that this agriculture production data or yield data or area data, state-wise, crop-wise, whatever it is, irrigated, unirrigated, input use, whatever kind of things, the real source of the data is Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. And their Department of Economics and Statistics is there, which is originally compiling this agriculture related data. I'm sure that you must have seen agricultural statistics at a glance, whether you have seen or not.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, I think most of you have accessed data. So whenever you are, as a student of social sciences, whenever you are asked to collect data related to those indicators, in your mind, first of all, it should click DES. Fine, because that is the original source, and in ministry's website, that data is given online. You can access it, even the previous agriculture statistics at a glance also. That data also is readily available in Excel also. So you can very easily download. Fine. But if you want to, but the same data is reproduced here because it is a handbook. So from here you can take, no problem in that. This is also the one of the government source, but the original data source is Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare. Now, similarly, money and banking, which is the core area of Reserve Bank of India. This is the original data source of RBI. For example, what is the money stock or money aggregates in terms of supply of money, borrowings from the commercial banks, cooperative banks, industry-wise, deposits or savings or lendings, group-wise lendings, item-wise lending, NPAs. So this is the original data source of Reserve Bank of India. The whole thing, it is given. Self-help groups, non-performing assets, loans, advances, bank rates, all sort of things are there. So that is the real domain of Reserve Bank of India's data collection system. Now the financial market, that is also basically most of this, RBI publications, or RBI is the agency which is collecting information from these sources. Fine. In public finance, then we come. This is one. In public finance, again, this is not the real domain of Reserve Bank of India. For this, basically, audit and general account, CAG, that is Comptroller and Auditor General of India. You must be knowing that. So that is a kind of department where it is collecting what is the actual government expenditure, central government expenditure or different states government expenditure, or suppose if you want to assess that how much Andhra Pradesh government has spent on agriculture and allied activities in suppose 2021, then you need to go to the Comptroller and Auditor General Account of India. I'll just come to that website also. Once I'll just close and do that. But the same data is reproduced here. So you need to understand that this is not the domain of Reserve Bank of India. Fine. But handbook is available. In handbook, that data is given. Similarly, trade data. You know that Director General of Trade and Statistics is different in Kolkata, which is basically collecting data of exports and imports of different commodities in value terms, in quantity terms, in different directions, and at different NIC codes, that what are at the commodity level, 4-digit level, 6-digit level kind of things. So that is the original agency which is collecting the data. But here the data is reproduced as a handbook. Fine. So now the currency and coinage, that is again the domain of Reserve Bank of India. So that data is only available here in RBI websites. Then various kind of demographic, social or economic indicators, different other agencies are there. For example, like per capita income, that is the domain of the MOSPI, that it is collecting. But many other educational or caste-wise data, if it is needed, so several other agencies are there. Similarly, again, this MOSPI data is reproduced here in terms of gross domestic product or gross value added at the current price, constant price, a kind of things. Similarly, money and banking, again, it's the domain of the RBI. The same thing, financial market, external sector, kind of thing. These are the little in data in US dollar also, or older data. Then of course, it's a long list kind of thing. And so like in consumer price index, physical indicators, many of the data are there. So this is basically a kind of a vast data bank, as I said, very voluminous kind of report. So now again, coming to the original slide, like this. So again, I was just mentioning about the CAG data, fine. So let us just explore. This is also a very interesting source of data, which you can just utilize for various purposes. And this website basically requires some kind of skill in data, collection. Just a minute. I'm just. Is it now fine? Visible?
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
So here, this is Comptroller and Auditor General of India, fine? So this is a supreme authority in case of audited expenditure. As I just said, told you that suppose you want to collect data that how much central government has spent on, suppose, Kisan Samman Nidhi Yojana, fine? Then you can just go to the account section. Here, this is state's account, and the other is the combined finance and revenue account. So this is the combined one, the revenue account as well as expenditure account. That is for all the states and all India. And this state account is for the individual state files. I just need to open and show to you. Yeah, just like this. Are you able to see that?
Yes,
Hello?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Like here,
Yes,
year-wise. Year-wise, you see 2019-20 audited accounts are available. So till the most recent data is 2019-20. And here you can view in PDF also, and you can download. And here you can select the states. All the states data, state-wise finances are available. So any of the state, you can just click it here and the year, and you will get the data. Different entries are there. How little bit not difficult, but little bit understanding is needed basically. Yeah. Suppose I just want to have 2019-20. Yeah. So, this is the kind of accounts are there. Basically here, some kind of codings are there. Like for example, this is for the social security, then agriculture has a different, kind of notations. I'll just, I think the more easiest way is, I just show you the finance accounts. Finance account volume 1 is the consolidated one. Let us open volume 2. Yeah, here just see, I'm just showing you. Agriculture is 2401. Here code systems are there. For example, this 2425 is for cooperation. 2435 is for other agricultural programs. I'm just showing you 242. Suppose you want to know that how much Andhra government has spent on agriculture research and education. So you can just see in crop husbandry, this is the state fund expenditure. This is from the central assistance. So this such kind of data is given. So actual expenditure for 2018-19 is this much by that state government in agriculture research and education, in crop husbandry. Similar agriculture research and education in animal husbandry is this much. Fine. Similarly, you can just, if you want to see 2401 is for crop production. Yes, this is 2401. Economic services, agriculture and allied activities. How much government has spent on crop husbandry in different items. This is the crop husbandry total, this much. Are you able to see that? this is the actual expenditure. This is not the allocation. Allocation you can get, in even budget details also, in budget documents also. But expenditure is only through the Comptroller and Auditor General of India. So this much expenditure is on soil and water conservation during the state fund, by the state fund during this year, 2019-20. This much is in animal husbandry. Fine. Similarly, this much in fisheries, this much in forestry and life kind of things. And then you can just have total. Similarly, this much in food storage kind of things. Fine. So this is how to read this one. This one, that is the state accounts. Now just come to the combined finance and revenue accounts. Here you can just get at snapshot for all the states. Suppose take this 2018-19. Just open this. Volume 1 is the aggregation. Volume 2 is bifurcation, as I just showed you in terms of only you have to remember the codes. For example, just see that here all the states are there, and here the codes are there, minor heads are there, and in between expenditures are there. Actually, you have to enlarge them because it's very consolidated, so that's why figures are so small. But you can get, the data like this for all this one. Suppose this is the minor head description and union government, that is central government, and then here all the union territories and state-wise, and ultimately it will be a kind of all India figure. So here you will get the in one document all state governments and union government together. But in state account you need to segregate it out for each state-wise. But otherwise the figures are the same, and here the figures are basically sorry. So this is from the Comptroller and Auditor General account of India. So this is a very comprehensive data on government expenditure, which is another most important component of aggregate income. Apart from the consumption, government expenditure is very important to document. So here you can just have the public expenditure. For private expenditure, there is another data source, that is, as I just mentioned about that All India Debt and Investment Survey, where how much farmers have invested or did expenditure on different items of agriculture or consumer items, that is given in that particular data. So from that sample, you need to derive data for the whole states and all over India. But that compiled data is also given, as I just showed you, in handbook of statistics by RBI. So now we can just stop sharing this CAG data and again come to the different one. Can you just see that now? My slides?
No, ma'am.
No, ma'am.
Okay. So we have just discussed this CAG data also. Now another important data is National Family Health Survey data. Now National Family Health Survey 5 data has just arrived, and this data is having the state fact sheet, that is state-wise indicators, in terms of sanitation, in terms of malnutrition of children, malnutrition of adults, that in terms of obesity, in terms of underweight, in terms of stunting, in terms of other indicators of malnutrition or sanitation or health related statistics. Nowadays, much of the research interest is going towards documenting undernutrition, malnutrition, or poverty estimates. So these data are quite helpful. So here state level fact sheets are given, here district level fact sheets are given, and now the unit level data, that is at each household level data, that is also given. So in many of the research studies, you must have seen that this kind of malnutrition or sanitation indicators data has been superimposed with that consumption expenditure data, just to find out that what is the linkage between consumption expenditure and malnutrition kind of things. So you can very well, if I just click that one, you can just see that data, open that data, and you can just first of all read with the key indicators also. Just have a snapshot of the picture that whether what National Family Health Survey of 5 data is, saying. Because, nowadays we are just talking about that, after COVID, this kind of malnutrition indicators have really increased. So that is against, our sustainable developmental goals, which have been listed. 17 goals are there, and every country is working towards that. So that this data set is actually very much interesting and to work upon. So you can just see that. Then another, I have just listed here, situation assessment, as I just said, and which Dr. Niteshri will be basically showing you, demonstrating you how to open that large size data with the help of Stata, and how you can just work on that, how you can merge files, how you can see the variable of your interest. Here, this is again, you can work on maybe state-wise or at all India data, or maybe sector-wise or section-wise. Various kind of gender studies are also being done. Similarly, debt and investment survey data, that is also very much interesting data. And just now, recently, 2019-20 round has come. So these 2 rounds of situation assessment, debt investment survey, as well as National Family Health Survey data, which is the large sized data, has just recently come, and that is largely unexplored. So my suggestion to many of the PhD students, those who have yet to start your research work, you can just explore some kind of these data, and they are freely available. Only you have to have some bona fide student kind of things, and you have to have your user ID and some kind of nominal charges, if any at all, applies to some of that. National Family Health Survey data, unit level data has yet to come for 1920. Maybe in a month or 2, we have just inquired that will come. Similarly, this NSSO has, you must be aware that consumption and employment surveys, that is very quinquennial round surveys are there. But unfortunately, in case of consumption, we did not receive the latest quinquennial round. That is after 2011-12, we did not have the recent data to work on. But for employment data, we have the periodic labor force survey, which was from 2018-19. And this is also a very good and quite unexplored, in the sense that not much work has been done. So that also you can just explore. That is also in public domain and free of cost. Similarly, you might be aware about the agriculture census data. It is quinquennial round, and now 2015-16 is there, and maybe in a year or so we will get the next another round also. So here, this data, as you know, that Ministry of Agriculture and Farmers Welfare is collecting, and they are keeping with them the unit level data also, but you need to take the permission from them to work on that unit level data. And if it is for research purposes, you can write to them, and they just provide the customized access also to that particular data. Similarly, livestock census, those who are working on dairy or livestock sector, they have Department of Animal Husbandry and Dairying that is publishing that data. That is again quinquennial round, and the recent data has just come. And again, you have to write for the unit level data. Key indicators are already available. Unit level data, you need to write about that. You have to show your interest, and they can provide the data to work on for you. Similarly, many of you are using indiastat.com, and this is also again a compiled kind of agency which compiles different kind of data at one platform, and that is why it is easy. But this is not the original source of data. People are mistaken that indiastat.com is collecting the data. No, it's a compilation. It's doing the compilation. It's kind of organization which charges, or which ask a subscription for using that data, whole subscription or that part subscription you can just take. And from many more sources, they are organizing data, collecting data, and then they are just disseminating through some price band. So that is a kind of source, but it is not originally collecting data. So basically, you need to understand that what are the data you need, which agency or which public department or government agency is the original source of collecting the data, just try to see that source first for that collection of data. And as a student of social science, you must be aware that who collects the data, what is the methodology of collecting the data, what is the definition of the variable they are defining, because it is not necessary that every decennial round or every quinquennial round is exactly comparable in terms of definition, in terms of sampling design, or in terms of other characteristics. So that you need to see. Similarly, CMI data, Center for Monitoring Indian Economy data, which is also compiling data. Some of the data CMI is collecting also. So you can just, again, this is based on the subscription. So you can purchase that subscription, and some of the unit level data at firm or farm, that is also available, which is quite useful. So if you want to work on, suppose, manufacturing sector or service sector, you can just have those kind of a module of CMI, and you can work on that. Yeah. DES data, as I just say that this is a kind of, you must be frequently using that data. So now you can explore more for this kind of data for agriculture sciences also. Similarly, on this, plot level data of cost of cultivation scheme data is also there. And here, 3 years blocks are there. And for the, last block, they just provide you data. They have the RTA files also with DES, and based on your research requirement, they provide you the data also. Then the other important data is, of course, population census data, which is also in public domain, and variables like migration, in migration, out migration, gender profiling of age profiling, education, those kind of inter-district, intra-district, interstate, intrastate migratory indicators. Those all kind of data are given in census data, which is, of course, as the name indicates, that is a decennial round. Similarly, many of you are also working on IMD data, that is for very many of the climatic indicators for climate change studies. That is also in public domain, daily weather reporting or other variables related to climate, that is also available, and you can use them. You can purchase also at the lowest disaggregated level. However, at the aggregate level, it is in the public domain. Similarly, nowadays, every now and then you might be reading about, crop residue burning kind of things. So this is a interesting data, which I just also suggested some of my, master's student, if I remember, maybe Ragini or so. So this is basically data collected through remote sensing unit of IRI, and this is the website name. Here, for many of the states, for rice and wheat, crop residue burning cases, that is in terms of the daily burning or the spots of the burning, frequency of the burning, many other, pollution levels. So all kind of things are being basically there, and this is from the IRI domain, and this is the address of this website. You can very well see the data and utilize that remote sensing data for your socioeconomic research. That is a very hot area where we need some precise data. So for past couple of years, that data set is available, and in agriculture physics division of IRI, they are collecting this data, monitoring that data, kind of things. Then the other, which is very important data set, which many much less people, at least from social sciences, they use, that is the XToxNet data, which is the extension toxicology network. And it is basically a data effort of various universities of US. Once I was just working on environmental impact assessment, I just came to know this website, and that is a wonderful website. They have just done that pesticide profiling, toxicology of different pesticides. Suppose you want to work for organic farming, fine, and you want to show that organic farming has a far less, footprints, environmental footprint as compared to the conventional farming, or what kind of residues are there, which are pesticide residues are there in crop production, maybe vegetable, fruits, or any other, and which can harm to the environment. So if you switch on to zero residue or organic farming, how much environmental advantage you are just gaining. So you can just click that website and you will get all sort of pesticides, their impact on different components of environment. Like, for example, what is their impact on human health, birds' health, or honeybees' health, and how you can quantify. You can just have that kind of scoring technique, and you can, methodologies are available where you can quantify and you can assess that how much environmental advantage is there if you can switch towards the safer kind of pesticide formulation, maybe organic or other kind of things. So that's also a wonderful website which you can just see that. Then we have several international data sets related to trade, related to production, supply, and many more variables. And the most important thing here is the FAO, Food and Agriculture Organization, that is FAO Stat. And here you might be aware, I hope, I'm pretty hopeful that FAO Stat on production, trade, food balance sheet, fertilizers, pesticides, land use, irrigation, on many more indicators it is available. And the beauty is that it is covering all the countries. That is a country specific data. So it is from the 60s to now. So whenever you have that kind of time series data on a particular variable that is country specific, you can very well use that data set. That is a very valuable data set, I must say. But of course, FAO is deriving data from the national data set. So you need to understand the flow of the data also. Then the second data set, which is also very widely being utilized, is USDA data sets. And mostly they are having in production, in trade, or other kind of thing. And basically it is monitored by, it is a US agency monitored by US government, but a very valuable data set is there, and on many aspects it is given. So you can just see those kind of things. That is entirely in public domain, that is customized as per your need basis also. And you have to have your user ID and login for that accessing. Then in that continuation, you have the World Bank open data set. I think World Development Reports you might have seen for some purposes. So here, this is, of course, a World Bank data repository, as Dr. Rajendra Prasad has shown some kind of data repositories by ICR institutes or national agencies. So this is the World Bank data repositories. It is country-wise, many kind of world statistics are given, maybe in terms of income or investments or many other macroeconomic variables, some kind of socioeconomic variables, like some kind of indices as they are just making education, birth rate, death rate, many other kind of socioeconomic indicators. So they are having those kind of things. Similarly, World Bank data on comparison of GDP across time, across space, at PPP value. I think in theory you must have read that at PPP rates or in dollar rates or in local currencies, at constant price, at current price, everything is given. So similarly, UN data sets. UNCTAD is another major organization which is publishing data related to trade, finance, technology, services, investments. So that is also a very popular database. I think if you just click it here, you can just open that website. I'm just not clicking it, but you can just have. So maybe I'll just share this presentation to all of you, and you can directly access to that, some of those data set, and you can just see the in detail that what kind of basically data are given. Similarly, UN Comtrade data, that is a wonderful data set, and here country specific or region specific, product group wise, individual group wise, with time frame, particular time frame, and in a very detailed individual commodity specific trade data is there. Those who are interested in for trade related research issues, they can very well just go for that, and very reliable, of course, data sets are there. Of course, some localized data set like PEN World tables are there on some 182 countries on certain variables, and Eurostat basically for European countries. So these are some localized data sets are there. Besides that, also many other data sets are there. For example, like in ICRISAT, they are also having a data repository, and name is BDSA, that is village level statistics are there. And for that also some farmer level data sets are there. And particularly for Eastern India, they have collected some data sets, and they are also updating it periodically also. And if I am correct, my information is correct, maybe 2019 data set is there, but maybe it might not have updation of all the variables, but periodically they just try to update for most of the variables. Similarly, IGIDR is also having a database, which is Spandan, and they are just having one project from Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation on malnutrition indicators of Eastern India. So that is also a very the beauty of this is that panel data is there for Eastern India, and for a large sample size is there. So that is also there, but that data is, I think, till 2014-15. So, but that is a very rich data source at disaggregated level. Many of the nutritional and socioeconomic indicators, health indicators are given. Similarly, you all must be, aware of the Economics and Political Weekly. That EPW Research Foundation is also there, which is also collecting many of the valuable data on various aspects. But that is priced data, and you can write to them and they can just customize the data as per your need also, and they charge some fee for that one. But that is a very systematic and very organized data set. So what I just wanted to know, I think with this, now I stop because data sets are endless. But the thing is that you need to be aware of that what exactly you want, and then just segregate those databases, find out that what is your requirement. Most of them are freely downloadable at aggregate level, but many of them at disaggregated level, they are charging some nominal fee or at least your authentication. So that is a system there which you can utilize. So with this, I think, Dr. Jha, I should stop because you have given me time till 6:45. Maybe I should stop and sorry. And I hope that, dear students, it serve some of the